Is it Kamala? Is it Camilla? Kamala? Communist? I don't know. Pronouncing a name seems to be an issue. It seems to change from person to person. But anyhow, the race baiting begins. Y'all remember Michael Tyson? Michael Dyson, actually, called Nancy Mace a white supremacist on CNN for accidentally mispronouncing Kamala's name. But then he decided to flirt with her afterwards. Well, before we show you the flirtatious stuff, let's show you the root of it.
That's the history and legacy of white disregard for the humanity of black people.
Oh, so now you're calling me racist.
I didn't say. I just said you weren't a racist.
That is complete.
No, you don't have to intend racism to accomplish
You are intending that
your disrespect of Kamala Harris is part and parcel of a tradition of disrespect.
Why can't you just, Congresswoman? Why can't you just?
I'm not calling you a racist. I'm telling you what the practice is.
You are. You absolutely are.
Let me get no, what's disgusting is your disrespect of her.
Professor,
this gentleman said,
you know what?
I didn't know her name. He's trying to do it.
Is her disrespect of women. She doesn't know what a woman is. And if 25 years ago,
white women don't have the ability to tell black women who paid the price of blood to make this country what it is to tell them they're not real women.
25 years ago,
they care for your babies.
25 years ago, I became the first woman to graduate from the Citadel, the military.
Oh my gosh, people like this annoy me so much. You do not have the right to tell a black woman. Listen, man, listen. Are we all considered equal? All right, man, we got the right to criticize, you know what I'm saying? Why is it that we as black people get to criticize everybody, but once we get criticized, you can't criticize us? Bro, come on, man. They make their living off racism. Without it, honestly, there'd be nothing. But anyhow, as I told y'all, the flirtatious text message. Oh, she was a savage for putting them on blast like this.
I would like to also enter into the record a screenshot of a text message I received from the esteemed professor from Vanderbilt, Michael Eric Dyson, after my CNN interview, begged me for photos. In this text, he says, after calling me racist on CNN, shh, don't tell anybody, we look good together, and sent me a kissy emoji.
Without objection.
The guy says I'm gorgeous in all these photos. I don't think he's that bent out of shape on how anyone pronounces Kamala. And if we're gonna have that standard, you gotta hold it to both sides, not just one or the other.
Ugh, she brought them receipts. She said, look, man, you try to do something. Look, hey, look, bro, let me go ahead and show you, you know what I mean, who you are. Yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie. This was very distasteful to sit there and accuse this woman of racism and directly accuse her of racism and say that you're not doing that. And tell her that she don't have the right to criticize or make her any assessments. Yeah, dog. And then you want to go right after that, try to scoop it up with a flirt. What? Come on, let's read a few of these. I'm just happy to see the baseless and nonsensical labels leftists slap on conservatives. They aren't working as well as they used to. The fact that they have the nerve to blast her for some stupid reason, then hit on her shows they don't even believe what they're saying on air. And yet people watch the legacy news. That's a great observation. If you ask me, this is great. Race hustlers go. Michael Eric Dyson is in a class of his own, a true loathsome piece of work. Okay, why are they all so freaking creepy? I don't know, man. Somebody says this is not their first rodeo. How often has a CNN panel done this, asking for a friend? Ooh, my nose. Oh my God, my allergies. Ooh, my allergies are a problem right now. But you know who else is a big problem? Kamala. And this is the exact moment legacy media realized that Kamala Harris is a big problem. Yeah. You know, I considered their facial what was that? I don't know. And their facial expression said everything, man. Seriously, dog. You see the way she walked off? I keep trying to tell y'all she not like us, you know what I mean, according to her words. But come on, dog. Like, that was her, what was this? At the National Association of Black Journalists. Oh my gosh, I wanted to make sure I had it all right. BJ. Remember, Donald Trump previously attended, and his exit was way more graceful than this. But we keep trying to tell y'all, man. We keep trying to tell you. Forgive me trying to tell y'all, this woman has a message for Kamala.
Kamala Harris, you are as fake as press on nails, and I can see right through you. Let me help you out with something, because maybe somebody must not have told you. On TV and on every interview, giving the same tired answer. So let me just help you out. When you are asked a question, why don't you try answering the question? People are not stupid. We can tell when you're dancing around the issue instead of answering the question. When you're asked, are people better off now or during Donald Trump's presidency? When you're asked about the border or your policies on immigration, answer the question. We don't care about your middle class upbringing. We don't care that your mama had to save up to buy a house. We don't care about your summer job at McDonald's. We don't care about the lawns of the neighborhood that you lived in and how everybody took care of their lawn. That does not matter to me, and it doesn't matter to anybody else. I want you to answer the question, because if people, my mind is already made up too, Kamala, because I can see right through you and I know that you fake. But for somebody else whose mind is not made up, let me just help you out. Answer the question so that they can decide between you and your opponent. I don't know if you're just trying to paint him as the villain and try to skate by to be like you the hero or a nice person. We don't care about that, because being a hero and voting for the nice person is not what pays the bills. You understand what I'm saying? We can see through you. And now that fake black accent that you keep doing, girl, you need to stop, because you know good and well that you ain't got no black accent. You know good and well that you was born in from San Francisco and in Canada. Where you get that black accent from? Stop doing that, trying to be relatable. This does not make you relatable. It makes you look fake. And those of us like me, we can see through that. We can see through that. We can see through every interview that you do, that instead of answering the questions that are on the minds of the millions of American people who have the power to elect you to the highest office in the land, you're dancing around the issue. And you want to talk about how you was born a middle-class kid and how your mother had to save up to buy a house. I don't care, Kamala. So just to recap, stop dancing around the issue. Answer the question. If you're going to do an interview, answer a question that you are asked at the interview.
Everything about Kamala Harris that we've seen so far is just fake. She's just fake, man. She lied about the military, people not being in combat zone, and lied, continued trying to push 2025. All she talks about is, the same script every single rally. Oh my gosh, she dances around questions like, she's Michael Jackson status with it. And then on top of that, they lying about her polling. J.D. Vance just said the polls showing Kamala Harris leading are fake, and they're only released to help Democrats rig and steal the 2024 election by manipulating voters. Y'all, I found out my dad was voting for Kamala Harris today, y'all. We're going to talk about it later.
The same people who put those public opinion polls together are the same people who say, for example, that Donald Trump was going to lose Wisconsin by 17 points. Remember that? 3 days before the 2020 election, Donald Trump was supposed to lose Wisconsin by 17 points. And set to the side all of the debates about what happened in 2020, Wisconsin was basically a tied election. So these guys use public polls, they use the media, not even just to manipulate public opinion, but to manipulate our leadership about what public opinion actually says.
So how does that happen? So those polls are fake, is what you're saying?
Oh, absolutely. They're fake. They're absolutely fake. And we see this, again, this is like very nerdy, but let's go down this polling rabbit hole. Okay. So a friend of mine, I think, is the best pollster in America. Every race I've ever seen him poll, he's way better than anybody else. Okay. So good pollster versus a standard media pollster. Tony Fabrizio, great guy. He's the president's pollster. Okay. Take a standard media poll and ask yourself, what are they doing? Those polls are all conducted by what's called online panels. In other words, they have a group of people that they go to again and again and again. They ask their opinion. Well, who are the people who are going to respond aggressively to online panels about what they feel about every issue of the day? A bunch of highly engaged, typically far left, typically people with professional degrees, people who are not representative of the American people at large, right? Meanwhile, most Americans are trying to pay their mortgage and trying to take care of their kids and trying to do all the things that are necessary to live a life in this country. And they're not answering the phone when a pollster picks up. So if you actually look at the good pollsters, they're telling you a radically different story because they're talking to a representative sample of the United States. And the fake media pollsters are talking to a very narrow slice of the United States. And again, they're trying to sell us a story. And this is not primarily to manipulate the American people. I think it's to manipulate us, meaning elected officials, because I've sat in lunches with a number of my colleagues who will say, look at this poll and look how Americans are responding to this or that issue. And then you realize that that exact same poll was wildly inaccurate 2 years ago. Why are you making your judgments about what the American people believe based on some poll? And oh, by the way, why don't you express some leadership? Why don't you just actually have a view and go to the American people and try to persuade them that your view is wise and then enact legislation in accordance with that wisdom, right? Like that's how real leadership should work.
What's so deceptive, and I think what people don't realize is that a lot of these polls are designed not to measure opinion, but to shape it.
Yes.
So they are tools of influence.
100%. President Trump said this recently in an interview, where he said that the purpose of some of these polls that say, okay, you're down 17 points in Wisconsin. So say you're a Republican voter, you want to support Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. And of course, the polls now are much better for us than they were back in 2020. But let's say you want to support President Trump and you read a story that says he's down by 17 points in Wisconsin. Why even show up? Right? So there's a voter suppression dynamic here where you try to get people to get depressed and to drop out of the democratic process. Don't even go and vote if the president is down by so much. The purpose of these polls is actually manipulation of both the public themselves, but also, of course, elected officials. And I think that we have to have the courage to trust our own convictions, to say, screw you, I don't buy the polls, and to do what you think is right on behalf of the country.
Yet another reason why you shouldn't put your trust in legacy media. You know what I mean? They said that Hillary Clinton was going to win by a landslide in 2016. We seen how that ran and, came out. It's a quote from Rochelle. Polls are not created to reflect outcomes. They are made to influence them.